So, what if I told you that one genealogical theory out there suggests figures as different as Lord Rama, Jesus Christ, and an ancient Roman king all belonged to the same family tree? Well, in this explainer, we're going to unpack a source that argues just that, proposing a single, massive family tree that connects some of history's most important people. Let's see how it all supposedly fits together. At first glance, this question seems kind of crazy, right? I mean, these are figures from totally different parts of the world, separated by huge stretches of time and culture. But the source we're digging into today claims there's a hidden connection, a common thread that basically rewrites the history books as we know them. So here's our roadmap for making sense of this. We're going to start with the main idea, then track down the ancestral root of this whole theory. From there, we'll follow its branches as they spread across different communities and faiths, all the way to a pretty shocking destination in ancient Rome. All right, let's jump right in. The central idea here is that there's a single massive family tree that completely ignores the borders we usually think about: nations, empires, even religions. What this really means is that all of these figures we tend to put in separate boxes, Indian, Middle Eastern, European, are, according to this theory, all part of one big family story. It's asking us to look past the map and see one shared line of ancestry. Now, every big theory needs a starting point, a solid foundation. And for this one, it's a very specific ancestral line, the Ikshvaku Parmar lineage. This is the trunk of the entire family tree, the single origin point for every connection we're about to make. So what is the Ikshvaku Parmar line exactly? Well, the source describes it as a foundational lineage of kings and priests from ancient India. You could almost think of it as the patient zero for this entire genealogy. This is where the whole incredible web starts. And just look at the sheer scope of this claim. The source suggests that this one lineage is the ancestral root for these massive figures across so many faiths. We're talking Lord Rama and Krishna from Hindu traditions, the Tirthankaras in Jainism, Lord Buddha, and all 10 Sikh gurus. It's an absolutely staggering list. And the theory doesn't even stop there. It projects into the future, saying the Kalki avatar will also come from this line. But it's not just about famous spiritual leaders. The theory gets even broader, looking at entire communities. It argues that shared jobs and trades actually create their own powerful family streams that flow right through history. The theory zeroes in on these 4 streams that are, let's be honest, the backbone of any civilization. People who grow the food, people who make the tools, people who provide the fuel, and people who prepare the meals. The idea is that these ancient groups of artisans and farmers created their own deeply interconnected family lines. And here is a fantastic example of how that works. This is how the theory connects Lord Jesus Christ to the whole web. It's not through religion, but through his trade. By pointing out his background as a carpenter's son, the source places him right in that global stream of wood and metal workers, forging this really unexpected link back to the East. Okay, so now we're getting to what is probably the theory's most ambitious claim. It argues that this stream of artisans didn't just stay put, it traveled all the way to the heart of the Roman Empire and connected directly with its ancient kings. The whole connection really comes down to a name. On one side, you have the Tarkhan artisan communities in India, which the source says, along with groups like the Ramgarhia, are streams flowing from that core Parmar line. On the other side, you have the Tarquin dynasty of ancient Rome. The theory says, hey, that's not a coincidence. It's a linguistic clue, an echo of a single heritage that moved west and eventually gained incredible power. And to try and support this idea of a deep east-west connection, the source points to this really fascinating piece of text. It's a supposed papal document from 1518. It suggests that Guru Nanak actually visited Rome and was recognized by Pope Leo X as a common father, which would hint at some kind of shared recognized heritage between them. So, we followed these threads from ancient India all the way to Rome. Let's step back for a second and look at the big picture. What is this grand, unified theory really trying to tell us? All right, let's do a quick recap of this wild journey. It all kicked off with that one core lineage in India, the Ikshvaku Parmar. From there, it branched out, connecting the great Indian faiths. Then it jumped continents to the Abrahamic world through the artisan link to Jesus. And finally, it landed right in ancient Rome with the Tarquin kings. So here's the bottom line. This theory is an attempt to tell a unified human story using a totally different set of tools. Instead of looking at history through the usual lenses of religion or politics, it uses genealogy, community, and trade to draw a completely new kind of map of human connection. And that kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about. If we did look at history through a lens like this, as one single, interconnected family tree, how would that actually change the way we think about culture, about our own identity, and about the whole idea of us versus them? Definitely something to chew on.